All right, good evening and welcome to Futbol En Vivo on Club Deportes Season 2, Episode 7. We are every week on clubdeportes.com. Follow us on Twitter at Futbol Austin. That's Futbol Austin. Follow Club Deportes at Club Deportes. For all the latest and greatest sports news and commentary, you got to go to clubdeportes.com. I am your host, Eric McCoy, and I am joined by a man jealous of the ruthlessness Chelsea FC shows when firing managers. It's David Alvarez.
Yes.
Welcome to the show, David.
Hey, I'm so happy. I see happy, especially when I see, coaches that get fired.
You just love seeing a coach get fired.
37% winning percentage.
This guy, man, all of a sudden he's become Mr. Stathead.
I mean, I cannot
He
believe.
discovered Wikipedia
How
like 2
did
weeks
he get
ago,
hired?
and now he
got hired with like a 27%. Like, how you can hire like that? Somebody like that.
I'm gonna send an email to Todd Bowley and let him know. You need to consult you before any kind of coaching decision. I mean, that's what's gonna have to happen. Okay.
Yeah, please.
All right. I am also joined by a man who's in a great mood because he didn't have to watch Emiliano Rigoni play soccer this weekend. It's Jorge Chavez.
Yes. One less week of waiting for him to come out of his shell, I guess.
Yes. So, any weekend without Emiliano Rigoni shooting the ball directly at the goalkeeper.
Yes,
that's a weekend.
That's a good weekend.
It's like looking for Redis. I mean,
what?
Rodney Redis. Oh, no, not something. I was thinking about the Redis thing.
Okay, guys, we're going to have a little bit of a different show. We got a different location for this show. We're kind of in close quarters. We're not used to being all bunched up like this, but we're going to make it work.
Yeah.
But no Austin FC to discuss.
Right.
So we're going to be discussing the other team that I follow. You follow as well, Jorge.
Yeah.
And you're the biggest fan of all of us, David.
I mean, it's my second team, Like, it's a blue, but it's not quite blue.
Blue is the color, David.
Yes.
All right, so we were going to be talking Chelsea FC. Chelsea FC in the news, of course, because they have, for the second time this season, parted ways with their manager.
Yep.
This Sunday, Graham Potter, no longer Chelsea head coach. He leaves Chelsea in 11th place in the Premier League table. I was listening to the Total Soccer Show podcast on the way over here, and they rolled very good show. Rolled out a couple stats. This is the 13th managerial departure in the Premier League this season. 13th, which makes actually Roberto De Zerbi, who replaced Graham Potter at Brighton, I believe just in September, replaced Graham Potter at Brighton. He's now the 11th longest tenured manager in the Premier League. That is how often Premier League teams are changing managers. Potter not even the only Premier League manager to lose his job this weekend because Brendan Rodgers is out
lost
at Leicester City.
I think also got to use a little thing like the Mexican League. I think also have 12 coaches replaced already. I mean, just on the sideline.
And yet, Austin FC.
No, I don't know the MLS.
Never has changed.
I don't know anything about the MLS.
Never has changed.
I haven't checked the.
But we can get into
we'll get into that
in a bit. And just a little heads up, we're going to be doing old school Futbol En Vivo this week. And I promise we're going to actually be doing old school Futbol En Vivo this week. We're doing half English, half Spanish. I promise. You're only going to have to deal with me for about half an hour this week.
Let's see if we can make it happen.
But let's go ahead. Let's get into it. I want to start with you here, Jorge.
Yeah.
Chelsea, have they made the right decision parting ways with Graham Potter?
I think they had no other choice. I read somewhere an article that said that they spent somewhere around $500 million in signings just this season.
They don't have a spending problem, Chelsea.
They don't have a spending problem, but the guys that they get, they're just not gelling. And I don't think...
Do you think that's a reflection of Potter, or do you think that's a reflection of the variety of players that Chelsea have brought in?
I think it's a little bit of both, but I think it was too much pressure on Potter to be given the players that he didn't know what to do with any of these guys. He didn't know where to place them because there were it was like every week there was a new signing. And
every week there was like a new starting 11.
Yeah, there was a new guy. So there was never any continuity. And so that's a big problem for a team when it doesn't matter how much money you spend. If there's no continuity in your lineup, it's not going to work. It's like fielding a new team every couple of weeks, training them on your tactics, on the way you want to do football. And it's just way too many moving parts. It would just-
Steinberg at the Guardian says that Chelsea mess is a reminder that spending is not a guarantee of success.
Correct.
Do you agree with that,
Very-
David?
100%.
Totally agree.
100%. Has PSG. PSG have been trying to buy the Champions League.
Hasn't
Have the
worked out
best
for 'em.
players in
Exactly.
the world.
Worked out.
Messi, Mbappe, Neymar, and they're not winning it.
No.
Money cannot buy everything.
Nope.
So what do you think, David? You seem like you got a lot to say about this. So was it the right move for Chelsea to get rid of Graham Potter?
Oh, of course. I mean, I think it was the right. I mean, it was not the right move to hire him in the first place. When like he had.
Do you
like
don't think should they have fired Tuchel?
should not fight too? When somebody like get a coach for the first year with the same team he got, he made the team a Champions League.
Champions League winner.
How are you gonna get the part ways with somebody that's so successful so quickly?
I'm sure it wasn't lost on Chelsea's owners that as Graham Potter was losing 2-0 to Aston Villa at the exact same time, Thomas Tuchel was leading Bayern Munich to a 4-2 win over Borussia Dortmund to move to the top of the Bundesliga. So, yeah, probably something Todd Bowley was aware of.
I mean, the numbers don't lie.
European football is
numbers
weird.
don't lie, and have awful numbers at Brighton. He has a losing percentage.
He did all right at Brighton.
He did all right, but it's still a losing percentage. He lost most of the games.
Yeah, he took over them when they were down near the relegation zone. So there's only they finished quite.
But still,
quite
this
strong
number were awful
under Brighton.
I mean, it was not a progress.
The
It
winning
was not a
percentage
progress.
was not.
I would
great.
never hire him. You can see how Brighton is doing right now with the same players. All the players that he had, like Trossard now is in Arsenal. All the Ecuadorian, you have a Stupinian. Brighton is
you
solid
could argue
team.
though that De Zerbi is benefiting from the foundation that was laid by Potter to some extent. Couldn't you say that?
No.
You could
Because they say the same thing about Bielsa. Oh, Bielsa was not the first one in Chile. It was another Chilean coach before the golden generation. No, it was Bielsa, man. It was Bielsa made that happen.
Because we could always look at what happened with Leeds. Bielsa was let go after Leeds, and they hired the American, and the success did not follow. No. So obviously, very different players from
Denmark. There's a lot of
and
angles
Bielsa,
you can see it, but obviously in this case, Chelsea made an awful decision, and they need to fix it really quick.
Okay, so awful decision in
hiring
Tuchel
him.
and hiring Potter, but now they have made the right decision.
Of course, it was.
But
I mean, look at what Chelsea is. I mean, they don't have anything
well, they have a lot.
They have okay, here's
way
what I
too
want to
much.
get into. I think
they're not showing anything on the table. That's for sure.
And I agree, Potter, underwhelming as manager, but like I was talking to Jorge before the show, I think he is the tip of the iceberg. There are so many greater problems at Chelsea right now than who is managing the team that I almost think like it's
everybody misses Marina. Everybody misses Marina because she did a great job.
That's a great deep cut right there. Maria Granatskaya.
It is true.
Wow.
I mean, she was
she was a very good negotiator there.
Yeah.
Okay, but Potter, I mean, it was just very average when you look at it. So he was in charge for 22 matches. Mm-hmm. Chelsea scored 21 goals in those 22 matches. They conceded 21 goals in those 22 matches.
Yeah.
Bang on average. And I think if you really want to look at it, I think Potter's biggest issue, this is an incredibly bloated squad, and whatever manager takes over is going to have that issue. There's just too many players on this team.
Yeah.
But I think Potter, coming from a smaller club like Brighton,
Yeah.
I just don't think he had the mentality. He was trying to be
manage
everybody's
all that.
buddy. Didn't have the mentality to manage a squad of that size. And I think what is really, really damning is I don't think you could see even a hint of any kind of plan that Chelsea had with the ball. And if you look at Tuchel's Chelsea were really good at defensive possession.
Yeah.
They could hold on to the ball and just wear teams out with just conservative possession, just death by 1,000 passes. And Potter's Brighton were the same way. Potter was very good at getting his Brighton team to do that. So Tuchel's Chelsea good at that. Potter's Brighton good at that. Potter's Chelsea could not do that. They really struggled to control games.
No.
You could look at games against like Everton, Villa. This reason they become very transitional, back and forth. Teams were able to counter on Chelsea in a way that they weren't able to under Tuchel, and they weren't able to under Brighton under Potter. So yeah, I mean you have a guy that I don't think is good enough really to handle a squad of the size of Chelsea, or at least didn't have the experience of handling a squad of that size. And then, he couldn't.
Yeah, the same era that happened when who was that? The guy from the previous coach was what was the previous coach at Everton?
At Everton?
At Everton.
No, Lampard.
Lampard didn't go to Chelsea. Was a Chelsea coach too, right?
Yeah.
It was not a good decision either.
Wow.
To hire him or
To hire him because the same thing is not.
okay,
somebody,
so Lampard came in and they had a transfer ban though, so they were not going to get a big time manager. Lampard was going to hired by default, basically.
Yeah, but it's not a good decision. It's like constantly not a good decision. Like it's a trend.
It's a trend. Yeah, that's what
I mean,
I'm supposed
and
to
then
say.
you buy these players like this kid from like Norway. What was it for Sweden? What's the new kid that Chelsea
You're talking about Mudryk from Ukraine.
Ukraine. Like he took it. He had an easy shot.
He did.
During the game.
Okay, but that's not Potter's fault though, is it?
You have to get a good player. You have to.
He didn't sign him. He didn't sign him.
But it's a professional player. You cannot make that mess.
I would
You
just love to know who's in charge of hiring all these players.
Because
You cannot kick the ball like
seems
that
to me
in professional
that
league.
there's,
No, it's like
but it seems to me that there is a disconnect between the scouting department at Chelsea and the coaching department because they are not communicating. They don't know what each other's needs are, or they are not communicating correctly, or evaluating correctly the players that they want because they're good players. Sterling's a very good player,
but in that case,
in a certain system,
Yeah.
and it just wasn't working.
Let me ask you, David, like what with this Chelsea team as it is currently assembled, with all these different players, what do you think is the best, like most realistic, like best scenario for this group of players? Like if you had another manager in charge, like what could you reasonably expect that manager to be able to achieve with this group of players?
I mean, I will give more time to some of the players that haven't been playing. You know, obviously.
Like what position in the table do you think they could reasonably expect to get to with this group?
Jesus, just barely making it to the Champions. I mean,
So you do think this is a team with Champions League ability on it?
I mean, it's the same thing that happened before when Tuchel was the coach. I mean, he just took it in a few months with the same players. Just took him whenever he wanted. He took it up to the Champions League with the same players. So a coach can do that. I think Chelsea is the best example of that. A coach can do that. You can do that. You just can do that with the same players.
So you think it really, even with the squad as randomly constructed as it is, as loaded as it is, you still think it is good enough to be a Champions League winning squad?
I think
what do you think, Warren?
There was one player in Chelsea that totally agrees with you, David, and that's Christian Pulisic. He said that Chelsea's got a good enough Champions League team, but it depends on two things: who they're going to hire to replace him.
Yeah.
Jerry pulled up a graphic of who's gonna be the interim coach. He's not the answer.
I honestly never saw that guy's name before until yesterday.
I know who he was. But the second part is this season is lost. There's only 8-9 games left.
It's all about Champions League. It's the only matches that really matter.
Yeah. So might as well concentrate on that. But as far as like the bloated, I would have the next coach concentrate on 6 or 7 key guys to keep, get rid of everybody else, and start building from there. Even if it's a rebuilding year. Yeah. I know Chelsea. I know especially in the Premier League, you don't do that. You get 1 year because of relegation and all that kind of stuff. But I think they have enough talent to secure. Let's say 10 guys. 10 years. There's the esteemed new coach for Chelsea.
He's got a nice haircut.
Bruno Saltor.
You guys need to check him out quick.
But I think they need to concentrate on guys that have fit the system that the new coach is going to do. It all depends on who they're going to hire.
Yeah. Okay. So I was reading in an article in The Athletic yesterday. They mentioned 4 names.
Okay.
Only one of which really interested me. Julian Nagelsmann is the obvious one. Just recently let go from Bayern. That's the one I would most prefer. It also
choice,
mentioned Mauricio Pochettino.
Pochettino.
I'm mildly interested in Pochettino.
Pochettino. Remember, don't confuse that with a different Pochettino.
No, that is a bit of a...
We would never in
That
this
is a bit
show.
of a swear word, Pochettino, on this program. Also mentioned, this would be incredible, Antonio Conte's name was mentioned. Well, that would be quite the
But
reunion.
it's already part of the Chelsea culture, isn't it?
He is, in some ways. He had a lawsuit with at least the old Chelsea
old
regime.
Chelsea.
So I don't know. That's an interesting...
But
some severance
obviously,
pay dispute there.
Tottenham was not a right fit there for
No, definitely not. And the final name, I really don't want to see. Brendan Rodgers was also mentioned.
But right, I mean, he just got...
Well, okay, I think to an extent, Rodgers, he did well at Leicester, right? He won an FA Cup. He had back-to-back fifth-place finishes.
FA Cup, and I think he won something. I think, did he win something else? But he went to the FA Cup and something else.
I'm not
He
sure.
went two.
Something,
Yeah. But too small.
Community Shield, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
FA
yeah,
Cup
the
is
Shield,
FA Cup's a big deal. Beat Chelsea in the FA Cup final, actually.
That's the one, yeah.
So I think he did well there, but yeah, he just kind of ran out. Eventually, it just ends. I think you just kind of... Players get tired of it.
Yeah, you just run out of...
Unless you're Sir Alex Ferguson, people, or Pep Guardiola.
Pep Guardiola type,
at some point. But still, having said that, I don't think he's quite at that level to be at Chelsea. I think Chelsea should have higher ambition than that. But out of those names, David, which one do you think Chelsea should go for? Or is there another name, perhaps?
But the problem with Nagelman, I mean, with him is like, obviously he had problems with the locker room. Right, he had a problem with the locker room with Bayern Munich.
Yes.
And then there's the
they
same
didn't
thing.
like his skateboarding either. They didn't like how he skateboarded into his job.
Oh, really? They didn't like the skateboard?
Yeah, that seemed like something you might try and do.
I'll ride my bike. I'll ride my bike everywhere.
Showed up here on a skateboard. I could see that.
I
I
ride
think
my
you
bike.
and Julian Nagelsmann, I think you guys would get along.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing, and then the other thing is like obviously Pochettino is, for me, it's a great coach. What he did with Tottenham, I mean, it was just amazing. Making to the Champions League final with that team, and then making it consistent when Son and Kane.
Why has he been out of a job for so long? Like, why hasn't someone got him? He's so. It seems like there's a bit of a
probably it's hard.
Something about him, right? That the team seemed to be shying away from him. Like United didn't go for him. Manchester United didn't go for him. They had a shot.
I don't know, because
Newcastle didn't go for him.
Well, he did, at the end, he didn't win anything with Tottenham. But he made it. He made it really far. But they won the silver, right? Where's the gold? Where's the silver? But in terms of as a player and then as a coach, what he did with Tottenham, for me, I mean, I will hire him right away. I mean, for me, I will hire.
Is that your number one? You think over Nagelsmann?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would go for
Because experience.
Nagelsmann.
Nagelsmann is my
I would
number
go for
one.
Nagelsmann because, taking what was said about Nagelsmann, that he's a little odd. Let's just
eccentric,
say
yeah.
a little eccentric, and that's. But
He's a young guy. He's younger
but
than all
he's
of us.
but he's a
which is
young
crazy.
guy. Yeah,
But the other things like kind of Bielsa does, he interviewed the teams, and not the other way around.
Yeah.
It's like not the team interviewing him.
and using your logic about his percentage of winning, if you look at the percentage of winning that he had with Bayern, in his first year, his debut year, he won the Bundesliga.
Yes.
Second year, he was second, which is the reason why he was fired.
I mean, is winning the Bundesliga with Bayern like
And he's
really
in the quarterfinals of the Champions League.
I mean, that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
We have two coaches on quarterfinals of the Champions League fired.
Yeah,
That's in between the round of 16 and the quarterfinals. It's crazy.
But I think I like Nagelman's tactics because he Bayern Munich has always been one of those teams that you basically play the same formation. It's just that when a player gets injured, the next player does the exact same thing. So the style is the same. It keeps over, so everybody knows exactly what they're doing, and that's what Chelsea needs. They need some discipline of the types of players that if they are going to play a certain position, they need to stay at that position, not be tinkering around with different formations or different players. Oh, see what this guy can do here, and what that guy can do there. Unfortunately or unfortunately, they have so many players now that they could probably do that and just assign a guy at a certain spot. Mm-hmm. Sort of like Pep Guardiola in his zones, where you take care of your zone a little bit.
Yeah, positional play.
Yeah, but I think Nagelman's a little more flexible, and I think the players that Chelsea has now are more adept for that kind of
Yeah, I think at Bayern you had an older group of players that maybe, and I think Nagelsmann, I think some of the ideas and concepts he was trying to bring in, I think maybe. I mean, you have players that used to play for Pep Guardiola, so these are players that can definitely handle some pretty advanced tactics. But I think even Nagelsmann was taking it even just like a step too far, especially for guys like Thomas Muller. Been around a while. But Chelsea have a very young team that I think is going to be more easily kind of molded into a coach's vision. And to me, I think Nagelsmann is kind of the ideal.
And the key is to not delay the change too much, because we talked about this earlier before the game. We have Thiago Silva, who's 37 and still one of the stalwarts.
Older than 2 years older than Julian Nagelsmann.
Yeah, and so They need to take advantage of him still being there, and N'Golo Kante as well.
Yes.
They need to take advantage of those.
And take advantage of Havertz, because Havertz might be moving to Bayern Munich.
So there's a lot of guys. There's a lot of pieces.
Well, that's what
I still have faith. I still have faith in Kai. I still.
But again,
he wants to go to Bayern Munich.
I would want to leave the 11th place team to go to the league leader.
So I think. So again,
Can he play the Champions? Can Havertz play the Champions now with Bayern Munich? No, too late.
He can't go now. No. Transfer window's close.
But Nagelsmann, I think, seems to be more of a studious type of guy, where he's going to look at the roster, see the strengths and weaknesses, and create a tactic of the guys that he's got. He's not going to want to change those guys to his tactics, but adjust to theirs. To their strengths, and that's what really needs to happen. That's the only way they're going to have success.
And the other thing too about Nagelsmann, yes, he's younger than Graham Potter, but to me, I don't think he's going to be. He's not a Mr. Nice Guy kind of coach. I think Potter was that.
Yeah.
I think Potter was concerned about alienating players, defending players. I don't think Nagelsmann has that issue. I think if he doesn't want you around, he's going to let you know.
Right.
I don't think he has any problem with that.
He has a winning percentage too. He's a winning percentage. It was like
Mr. Winning percentage.
That's the more important thing. Man.
Incredible. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to teams are actually good at football. Let's talk about the league leaders in the Premier League, and I want to get you guys' thoughts. We got quite a little title race going on. I don't know if we can get the standings pulled up here, Jerry. But both Manchester City and Arsenal were 4-1 winners this weekend. So as it stands right now, we got Arsenal on top, 72 points. They are 8 points clear of second place Manchester City. Manchester City do have
one game.
Do have one game in hand. David, I'm going to ask you. I know you got thoughts on this.
Yes.
Who wins this thing, Arsenal or Manchester City?
I mean, it really doesn't matter. I mean, because
I think it does matter.
I think it matters a little bit.
I mean, for
matters to Arsenal and Manchester City.
I mean, it's very important. I think Manchester City is going to win the Champions League. I mean,
okay, actually, he's going to win the Premier League.
I mean, it's going to be a consolation prize. It could be a consolation prize, but other than
Champions
that,
League will be the consolation prize.
No. The Champions League is going to be the main thing, and then the Premier League is going to be the consolation prize for Man City. Yeah, Man City is going to win it.
They're going to win.
They're going to win both.
Both. Yeah, it's the best team in the world.
Could you bring back the graphic there, Jerry?
Last game, how many passes did before they scored the goal? 47 touches.
You think honestly, in 10 games that are left in the Premier League, they're going to catch up 8 points to Arsenal?
Of course, yeah.
Do you see that
what
form?
universe
Look at the form
are we
right there. Win for Arsenal. City can play 100 passes and score a goal, but if Arsenal keep winning, it doesn't matter.
I mean, yeah,
they're not going to catch it.
It's going to be a close one, but at the end, they're going to choke at the end.
You think Arsenal is going to choke at the end?
Yeah,
really? Oh no!
Because Pep knows them. They used to work together. He knows how to play with them. The last game did he show it? Remember?
Well, okay, that you do bring up a decent point there, David, because there is still a head-to-head between Manchester City
one.
And Arsenal. So if City win their game in hand, that takes it from 8 to 5. And if they were to beat Arsenal head-to-head, that takes it down to just 2. Mm-hmm. But that's still 2 points that they'd have to make up. And Arsenal, they're just not losing games right now. It looks so good.
Yeah. But but Haaland.
Your man Trossard.
Hey, Haaland. We don't. Messi doesn't need Haaland. Because
They have
Wait,
Alvarez.
where do you stand on this one? Right? Let's bring some common sense back into the show.
Arsenal's going to win the Premier League. I mean, come on.
Hey guys, come on, be reasonable. It's like,
We are being reasonable. Arsenal
going for
have
Arsenal, obviously.
Look, yeah,
You're
no.
going for
Look at
Arsenal.
it this way. Look at the whole of the season.
Yeah.
They have not looked bad in any kind of stretch. So what you're saying is that suddenly in these last 10 games they're going to be awful.
No,
when they have
they're
not
gonna
shown
lose.
a pattern
They're
of that the
gonna
whole
tie
season.
They're going to tie a couple games, and because honestly,
But
they have
what
a
you're
game
saying is
against.
that
I mean, you need to see who the games are with. We need to compare who the games before, like who are the rivals.
You're gonna have to do that research, W. I didn't actually
because
look that up.
that's what you need
I'm
to
looking
see.
it up as we speak right now.
Because I mean, you gotta see if you play Newcastle. You're in big trouble because Newcastle is
exceptional,
amazing.
Against
You play
Manchester
Aston
United. They
Villa.
were really
Aston
good.
Villa is playing.
Their next games are against Liverpool, West Ham, Southampton, Man City, Chelsea, Newcastle, Brighton, Nottingham Forest, which is probably a win, Wolves, which is probably a win.
There are some tricky games in
There's
there.
at least
those are Arsenal's.
those are at least two games that they win.
Newcastle.
That's really all they need.
Liverpool. Oh, I mean, I'm going all my money on Man City.
Well,
All of it,
Liverpool
all of
are
it,
not.
all of it,
Liverpool
all of
are
it.
not as strong this season. That's not. They're. If it weren't for Chelsea, everyone would be talking about how bad of a season Liverpool are having. As you see right there,
It's 4-1.
City,
It could have been
4-1.
7-1. It could have been like they didn't. They only have one shot on goal. Liverpool in the first half, and then Man City, dominated. It was awful. I mean, I felt bad for Klopp, but I mean, it was a domination.
You're a man of great empathy, David.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to. Okay, clearly you think City are going to win the title, but I think even you, David, have to be impressed with Arteta and Arsenal and just the
very
work he's
impressed.
done right there. So
I'm very impressed because what he had done with all the players, he totally transformed. He got rid of some bad players, but I mean, they were good players, but not fit for the team. So he's done an awesome job. I mean,
Okay. So
No question about it.
You are quite known on this show as being pro. Just at the beginning of the show, you brought it up. Pro managerial firing, like that. That's your kind of your theme on this show in many ways. So I want to talk about Arteta.
Okay.
So he gets to Arsenal in the 2019-20 season. Arsenal finished in 8th place that
Yes.
season. The next season, his first full season in charge, they also finish in 8th place. His third season, they finish in 5th place. Still not good. I mean, the Arsenal are a team that expects to be in the Champions League. So for 3 seasons, he goes 8th, 8th, 5th. Doesn't get fired. And now look at him. Top of the table. Is this proof that sometimes if you got a good coach, you just got to give him time? This is a great argument against firing the manager, right?
Well, no, it is an argument, but you have to say what he did in Arsenal.
I can almost guarantee if you go
What
back
he
into the
did-
Futbol En Vivo
no.
archives, there is probably a clip of you in one of those 8th
No,
place
no.
seasons saying
I'm a
that
lo-
Arsenal need
I'm a
to
big fan of Arteta.
fire
Hey, no,
Arteta.
no,
I
no,
can
no.
almost
Never-
guarantee
no.
you.
Well, put it up. I've never said that.
That might be my
I
project
never-
this
We're
week.
getting some research
That
there.
might be my
Hey,
project
I
this
did
week.
have a problem when he benched Aubameyang. I had
A lot of people have been bitching Obama.
Yeah,
so
that's the
not just
only time
Arteta.
that I have a problem with them. But other than that, Arteta, I would believe, has me, the fans, the Arsenal fans, even though he was in that place, he made everybody believe. Like, even though he was as successful, like, people was close to him, feel it. But in other situations, people lose it and people feel that there's no identity. There's nothing there. But with Arteta, people knew there's something there.
I do agree with that. That he was able to instill a culture
Yeah.
in Arsenal.
So you feel
And I
like
think-
comfortable.
I do think crucially he won an FA Cup in that first season, beat
He did.
Chelsea in the final, and I think
That
just
did help.
winning that trophy,
Yeah.
I think did buy him some time that maybe he otherwise wouldn't have
Right.
had.
That's true. But I think based on
Like bringing
that,
Martinelli, but bringing all these players, all these forwards, like bringing
So many
getting
exciting
the
players right now.
black guy from Brighton, Trossard, he's like great selections, he has made.
that was the key. That's what I was going to mention. That it depends on the players that he selected for his system. He was given time to build a system, and then fill the players that to
How many
fulfill
players
those
from
posts.
the beginning are there?
Probably
Only one.
not
Xhaka.
many. Yeah.
which scored a goal, a beautiful goal in the 4-1 Arsenal win.
Yeah, they've
he's
changed.
the only player, but he's the captain.
They've changed midfield. The parties come in. So yeah, that is a very good point. But yeah, he was given time though.
He was given time.
Well, I would have given the time because he showed. It doesn't matter how it was never losing bad. Never lost bad.
I mean, eighth place is pretty bad.
They played well.
8th place is not bad.
Yeah, they played, and you can see that it's time to rebuild. Like you can see there's a philosophy there, you know, and you see Arteta involved in every single game, giving 100%. That's you're not gonna tell that coach he's not doing a good job.
It's just the results didn't fall his way, and he didn't have the players to fulfill.
When Bielsa loses the game, he gives everything in the field. He leaves everything. He loses 4-0, but he's going to try to score a goal on you no matter what. He's lost 7-0, but he's going to try hard to score at least one goal on you. That's what I want to see in a coach. You know? Yeah. I don't want to see coaches like, okay.
Now, who are you imitating? Who is that? Who is that?
I mean, some coaches from high school over here.
Okay. Now, I got a question for you, David. You're Mr. Man City, all right? We know that you're gonna. Yeah. You got your Julian Alvarez jersey is in shipment right now.
Yeah, hopefully.
So I want to ask you, David. I'm looking up some numbers on City this weekend. I find it interesting. Okay, so they've added Erling Haaland, right? The greatest striker in the world, scored 28 goals. He's been a resounding success. I think that's fair to say.
By his age, you know.
But if you look at it, though, okay, last season, Manchester City were averaging 2.61 goals per match. They add in Erling Haaland, score of 28 goals, and their goals per match has actually dropped. They're only scoring only 2.54 goals per match. Okay. They're actually scoring less goals despite adding a guy that scored 28 goals all by himself. Why? Why is their attack less effective with a guy that scored 28 goals now in the team?
I don't think that's very important, though. I think more,
well, it is interesting, though. It's an interesting
and
they're not embarrassed.
No, they I give him.
Ran away with the league last season.
I have to give a credit. Yeah, we're talking about how good a team could be. You know, okay, he's not as good as a percentage. He's not scoring 4 or 5 goals. He's scoring 3. Oh my God!
Well, I'm telling you, that is interesting, though. That is
interesting.
But the more interesting thing is how many touches Manchester City does before they score a goal.
Who wasn't playing this weekend, though?
He was playing.
Now, Haaland wasn't playing this
weekend.
But
Liverpool was playing Liverpool, and you see they make a masterclass. They made a masterclass out of Liverpool. Liverpool, like
Liverpool are in 7th place right now.
Do you see the third goal? The third goal, there was 47 touches that they did before they scored the goal. 47. It's just ridiculous. Before Liverpool ever, they don't even touch the ball. So that's what I'm saying. The more time, I mean, they just play with everybody, and they're gonna play with everybody, and want to win it all. I mean,
okay. Well, you kind of veered a little off topic.
Yeah, off topic. Yeah,
but. Jorge,
yes.
Do you have any ideas as to why you add a player like Haaland, scored 28 goals, and you actually are scoring now less goals this season than what you did last season?
Because the tactics changed. What I expected, and I said from the beginning of the season, what I expected to happen was that Haaland being there, the center of attention, they were going to defenses all across EPL were going to ignore the rest of the goal scorers. But the exact opposite happened. The rest of the goal scorers started concentrating on just feeding it to Haaland.
Right.
And so that made the defense much easier to defend the other guys.
They're more predictable, aren't they?
They're more predictable.
More predictable in attack,
They knew exactly how to defend against Man City. Just defend Haaland. If he gets away and scores 4 or 5 goals, so it be. But the rest of the guys didn't get to even touch the ball.
Oh, this is one of the first times I can remember watching a Pep Guardiola team and going into each match. I know how they're going to play. It used to be you never would know. You would like, what are they going to? How many? They're going to play like 4 false nines.
Usually they're going to make that substitution, and then like right now Bernardo is not playing. It's not starting the match. Like Bernardo, he used to be playing, and
it's
Grealish is playing way more now than actually Bernardo is. I mean, Grealish was the main player of the game against Liverpool, but Alvarez was everywhere.
Well, okay,
but I think that goes to my point. When Haaland wasn't there, they reverted to the way they played last
year. Because Alvarez
and that was the result. 4-1, everybody was scored across the front. They were all.
But when Alvarez
to
and
second
Haaland
gear.
are there, that's what you need to be worried.
Agreed. I agree with that.
I mean, because they have it, they're always looking for each other. Like, there's a good big connection.
They should have done that more. they
But don't
probably
worry,
would have had a
time.
couple.
There's enough
There's
time.
no
There's enough time. to
time.
score
I
goals.
don't-
That's gonna be Alvarez, Haaland.
All right.
Okay, yeah, and I don't want to 2.54 goals from It's still a lot of goals.
It's a lot of goals.
So,
Sure.
there's still
Yeah.
you can know what's coming and just not be able to stop it, which is what happens to most
What
teams.
happens- yeah,
but I do wonder as we get to the business end of the season if that just that smidge more predictability to City's attack, if that doesn't come back to bite them at some point.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we're probably about
Wishful
time to
thinking,
be
guys.
switching over to the Spanish only
They just want
section.
Chelsea to do.
Yeah.
Hey, I would love that. But just real quick before we go, I want to get some little Austin FC, LAFC predictions coming up because it's going to get real quick for Austin FC after this little week break as they go out to LA. 6:30, I believe, is the start time on Saturday.
Which might be a problem because it's the women's game is it's just before that.
That is right. We have the
Yeah.
U.S. women against Ireland on
at
Saturday
Q2 Stadium.
At Q2.
Yeah, so that's gonna
wow.
that's gonna be a bit of a lot of football that day for sure.
Yeah, it's a big day of
Yeah.
football in Austin. But in terms of Austin FC, Jorge, you weren't willing to give a prediction on last week's show.
Right.
Has anything changed between now and then? Are you willing to go ahead and make a prediction here?
Nothing's happened, which is
Well, Cascante is back in training, right? I think there was a
Cascante
video
was back
of
in
him
training. There was some video
so-
of him back, so that's good news.
would be nice.
That doesn't mean
He could
anything
come
because he's
back
not going
for
to
this
play.
one.
But does it give the guys a boost that they're close to what they were before? They probably gives them a little bit of a push, but not enough against LA.
Yeah, no, LAFC did draw this weekend
they did draw.
to the Colorado Rapids. They also fell victim to the mighty Rapids,
Which
as
is
Austin
probably going
FC.
to make LAFC matter now.
There's one way of looking at it.
They're not gonna put up a loss here. So
61% win probability.
at
That
home-
sounds about right, actually.
at
Or
home-
62%. I can't read.
It's 62%, and
Trying
I
to-
already have my prediction.
trying to keep
You
up
said
with St.
3-1,
Louis.
right?
Yeah, 3-1 in LA.
Trying to keep up with St. Louis, who lost,
They
by the
did do-
way.
I watched
They-
that
they
game.
lost
Yeah,
that
they
game.
did-
So
they did lose,
I think LSU is going to take advantage and go full strength and probably wallop Boston FC, unfortunately.
So
I say
you said-
3-1. I say 3-1.
Okay, I think we're all in agreement here. 3-1. Okay. Not
Unfortunately.
Not the
Wow.
Club
Don't
Deportes
you have- you don't
dissent
have-
that
you don't
they
have faith
usually
that
like
things
to
can
see.
change?
No, not against not this
Not
week.
against
Maybe
LAFC.
next week. maybe the week after. Okay,
I haven't seen any evidence that they fixed the problems that they have. And they have several problems to fix.
the good
So
thing is you had 2 weeks to prepare for this one, so that. So
I hope they prove me wrong.
And you're gonna get all the people that play in the FIFA, break.
I think expecting a win.
Varsity is going to be back. That's true.
Yeah, that'll be important. I think expecting a win. Yeah, I think that's probably a bridge too far, but we can
So
expect a better.
LFC too. LFC gonna get everybody back.
Yeah, which is not ideal. But I think we can expect a better performance and hopefully.
I expect them to play better, but I still expect a loss.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah, a respectable loss. Put it that way.
I hope. I'm praying
We'll
for
see.
a respectable loss.
Yeah.
What wonderful season we're having.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and dug out. These guys are going to take over here. I'm leaving you guys in good hands, audience. These two know what they're doing. Futbol En Vivo, old school, Spanish style, is going to start right now.
Oh, thanks. Gracias, Eric.
Gracias, Eric.
Te pasaste, man. Hiciste un gran trabajo, Eric. ¿Vas a venir, Richie, o qué? Hablar de fútbol. Sí, buenas tardes, bienvenido a una nueva edición de Fútbol en Vivo en español, aquí con Jorge.
Sí.
Soy David Álvarez y estábamos hablando recién de la Liga Premier,
Sí.
que tenemos varios, dos candidatos realmente para
Sí,
la Liga
los
Premier.
únicos dos que tienen la oportunidad de ganar la Premier y por mucho. Creo que los del tercer lugar tienen 50 puntos y Man City está en segundo lugar y Arsenal en primero. Ahí está la tabla. Tenemos a Newcastle United que me sorprendió esta
Newcastle
temporada.
United,
Muy sorprendente equipo. Muy
excelente,
bueno.
y pese que muchos dicen, ahora que lo compraron los árabes con todo el dinero del petróleo, Pero es el mismo equipo,
que
estaba antes que lo compraran los árabes.
No agregaron
y el mismo
mucho
entrenador.
jugador que
así
digamos.
que no, es un equipazo. Y le dio una.
Va a ser muy interesante ese equipo el próximo año.
Este año
es muy impresionante. Pero el próximo año, con la continuidad que están enseñando, va a ser un equipazo el próximo año.
Le dio la zurra a Manchester United.
Sí, y porque lo menciono porque como quizás algunos saben, yo soy fan del equipo de Nacional de Estados Unidos. Y
¿Le vas al equipo de las barras y las estrellas? Pero
sí.
Si eres del Paso, ¿cómo le vas a ir al
El Paso está en Estados Unidos, así que pero como decía, saludos a mis amigos de Barra 76, que es el grupo.
No, le vas a los Bravos de Juárez también.
Tengo 10 equipos por todo el mundo. No hay problema. Pero solo tengo un equipo nacional. Así que, anyways, regresando al tema.
Dale.
Se ha rumorizado que Christian Pulisic, el jugador de Chelsea, quiere mantenerse en Chelsea, pero no lo están usando. Y él tiene que hacer algo para poder tener minutos, continuidad.
Bueno, ahora va a tener un nuevo técnico.
Y con nuevo técnico, es el quinto que el pobre ha tenido. Necesita un lugar estable. Y un lugar estable que han estado platicando es precisamente Newcastle United. Se ha rumorizado que ellos están interesados en él.
Pero Newcastle, bueno, honestamente, no es que... Pero ya tienen delantero, tienen el Maxim, es una bestia, el francés.
Sí, pero no me puedes decir que puede...
Joe Ellington era 9 y ahora lo pusieron más retrasado, juega atrás.
Sí.
Guimaraes está jugando a un nivel.
Claro, pero no me puedes decir que Pulisic no puede por lo menos encontrar minutos en ese equipo.
No, pero yo
creo de reemplazo, por lo menos.
No, yo no creo que tenga cabida en ese equipo. Con Almirón jugando ahí, pues, no tiene espacio, demasiados delanteros. Tiene Newcastle demasiados buenos jugadores. Yo creo que Pulisic es un jugador que atrae... me hace recordar un poquito cómo jugó Alexis Sánchez con Arsenal. Esos jugadores que están ahí, que él tienen que ser el foco de atención. Tienen que ser el foco de atención porque nunca ha tenido esa porque tiene esa chispa, tiene esa habilidad, esa salida que no tienen muchos jugadores. La tiene Pulisic, pero no lo ponen. En Chelsea no lo ponen.
Y se ve porque en los dos partidos que jugaron con la Nations League aquí contra Granada y el Salvador, él fue, como dices tú, el enfoque del equipo y jugaron bien. Jugaron bien los dos partidos, así que, y él jugó fenomenal, ¿verdad? Anotó un gol también, fue autor de varios asistencias.
Es un jugador
pero
diferente.
Como dices tú, es un jugador diferente
que tiene que ser bien utilizado por cualquier equipo.
Y sí, tiene que ser el centro de atención, por eso se me hizo interesante lo de Newcastle United. Definitivamente no creo que regrese a Chelsea el próximo.
No creo, pero ahora cómo no vas a ver. Porque ahora va a depender definitivamente de quién va a ser el técnico, porque ya no tenemos a Potter.
Bueno, eso sí. Depende del técnico que consiga Chelsea FC.
Depende. Si tienes un técnico que le gusta el ataque, porque definitivamente este señor no encajaba en ninguno de los dos encajaban.
No.
Así que.
Sí, las tácticas no.
No, yo creo que Pulisic tiene futuro. Como decíamos en el programa anterior, Chelsea, con los jugadores que hay, se puede llegar a clasificar. Hay jugadores. Lo que no había era un sistema.
Sí,
no tenía un sistema y obviamente pagó con ese menos de 37% de partidos ganados que tuvo.
Sí, y por eso es interesante cómo cómo es las ligas en Europa, que no tienen paciencia en muchos sentidos.
¿Cuántos entrenadores ha tenido Chelsea en
¿Tres?
Desde esa época.
¿En tres en esa época? No, dos.
En 3 años.
Sí, en 3 años. En 3 años. 3, 4. O sea, no hay continuidad en las tácticas.
4 en el mismo tiempo que Josh Wolf ha sido coach de Austin.
¿Por qué
FC?
mencionas a Josh Wolf?
No, ella es una comparación entre Chelsea con Austin FC. ¿Cuántos entrenadores ha tenido cada equipo, ¿no? Y cuáles son los goles que tiene cada equipo.
Sí, y por eso, si quieres entramos a ese tema ahora, tocándolo poquito. La paciencia que no hay en el resto del mundo Tú mencionaste algo acerca de la Liga MX.
De la Liga MX. Bueno, la Liga MX está a un gran nivel. Va a volver al Club América,
Sí.
la selección, todo el mundo está.
La
Bueno, pero
selección
tú dices el partido de León con América.
Sí.
¿Tú querías comentar algo sobre
Quería
ese partido?
comentar algo en cuanto a eso, pero regresamos a
Regresamos
a eso.
ok.
Pero quería hablar acerca de la
yo quería
de la
hablar.
longevidad de los entrenadores.
No,
Muchas veces no duran ni una temporada tampoco los coaches, los entrenadores en la Liga MX. Porque son muy exigentes
Exigente.
los dirigentes. Esperan muchos cambios y éxito casi inmediatamente. No que ganen la liga o el torneo, la clausura o lo que sea, sino que peleen bien los partidos. Y cuando se ve que no están jugando de esa manera, no tienen ningún problema en despedir.
Sí. No, y muchos entrenadores pierden y les va mal y aprenden, ¿no? Aprenden y se
Sí.
van a jugar a la segunda división y vuelven, ¿no? Romano no le fue muy bien, sí, para el Romano está en Cruz Azul, parece que se fue Romano. Mazatlán. En Mazatlán no le ha ido muy bien.
Que por cierto lo vamos a ver porque van a venir aquí a jugar Mazatlán contra Austin FC en la CONCACAF, CONCA Champions,
Sí.
perdón.
Pero hay que recordar también que en México también hay más paciencia porque también han vuelto, los equipos no hay segunda división. Entonces también ahora no se puede comparar. O sea, ahora podemos hacer una comparación directa con la MLS.
Sí.
Porque si there's no relegation, no bajan de división, podemos hacer una buena comparación con México.
Sí, por eso no hay esa presión quizás en MLS para... Hay algunos, bueno, depende del inversionista o el dueño, como se dice, ¿verdad? Porque Houston, recuerdo como tenían a Tabaré Ramos cuando lo contrataron. Pensé que iba a ser una excelente contratación. Había tenido éxito con la sub-20 de Estados Unidos, un buen entrenador, buen jugador, sabe las tácticas. Duró un año.
No hizo nada. Y después
no hizo nada.
Nakamura estuvo después.
Nakamura duró un año y no hizo nada.
Y
o sea, ya estamos con el tercero, con Ben Olsen, que no ha empezado muy bien. Sí ganó, obviamente, contra Austin FC, pero no ha enseñado mucho tampoco. Así que ya van 3 coaches en los 3 años que ha existido Austin FC. ¿Qué opinas tú de eso?
No, bueno, que se está cerrando el círculo, ¿no? Debería cerrarse el círculo, pero eso no depende de nosotros. A mí no depende de nosotros, depende
del inversionista. Y creo que...
Depende de los fans. Yo le decía a unos amigos que la afición de Austin FC tiene que poner presión. No puede estar ahí como cantando y no poniendo presión cuando estamos perdiendo todos los partidos.
Sí, porque
Uno tiene que poner presión con lo mismo que pasó con los jugadores que estuvieron en Austin y ya no están. La gente puso presión. Lo mismo digo, los verdes, la afición tiene que poner la presión
porque yo
todos sabemos no todos saben de fútbol, pero los que saben.
Sí, porque no he estado muy al tanto de lo que ha sucedido, pero los fans del Galaxy han puesto el ejemplo de cómo poner presión en la directiva, porque han boicoteado muchos partidos ellos.
Sí, supe que habían boicoteado un partido con
no sé si el primer partido de la temporada boicotearon, algo así, pero están muy, muy inconformes con la dirección del equipo.
Sí.
Entonces,
al estilo César Chávez. Chávez, ¿sabes? Decía, había que
por ahí
hacer
salieron las rebeliones.
Primero huelga, boicot, protesta. Es la única forma de solucionar los problemas.
Sí, y desafortunadamente
HBP.
no sé si es la novedad de tener un equipo, la felicidad de tener un equipo aquí, que no quieren mover las cosas, pero ya se ha visto que el equipo no se dobla mucho a lo que la afición quiere que cambie.
Es un proceso de crecimiento, pero se le da que la afición ha tenido mucha paciencia, yo creo, porque los resultados están a la vista, ¿no? Hemos tenido
este año sí. Ha sido duro para la afición seguir con lo mismo.
Con lo mismo, sí.
Con apoyar y apoyar y apoyar. Pero algún tiempo va a terminar. Decía ahí el estimado coach.
Hay que tener una meta, ¿no? La meta, tenemos que tener metas, tenemos que tener esperanza. Todo el mundo tiene la esperanza, y todos quieren estar unidos, ¿no? Pero las fracturas ya están ahí.
Sí.
Las fracturas se están comenzando
Porque lo que mencionamos en la sección de inglés, estamos hablando de Arsenal. No sé en qué mundo piensas que Manchester City va a alcanzar a Arsenal, pero Arsenal ha mostrado...
No, porque en qué mundo, por supuesto que... Porque soy fanático, porque Jesús era mi favorito de Manchester City, era mi goleador favorito y se fue con Arteta.
Pero hablando de Arteta, como mencionó nuestro compañero Eric, cuando lo contrataron, en su primera temporada estaba en octavo lugar de la tabla.
Octavo lugar.
Y luego octavo lugar en el segundo año. En el tercer año estaba en quinto y ahora está en primer lugar a gusto arriba de Manchester United. Pero eso demostró mucha paciencia por la dirigencia de Arsenal, porque pudieron, si tú contratas a alguien, muchas veces esperas resultados inmediatos, pero cuando tu equipo termina en octavo lugar, interesantemente no lo despidieron, sí ganaron el FA Cup y a lo mejor eso les dio pausa para no despedirlo, pero ya para el próximo año terminaron en el mismo lugar y no se veía mucha fuerza, mucha diferencia.
Pero también hay que tomar en cuenta que él entró después de que estuvo en ahí, Emery, estuvo ahí y obviamente que se le pedían los mismos resultados y no lo consiguió rápidamente, pero Arteta llegó llegó de Manchester City primero que nada. Entonces viene de entrenar con el mejor entrenador del mundo. Entonces ya viene con eso de base. Y después demuestra en los partidos que está siguiendo básicamente la misma teoría de juego de Manchester City. Entonces cuando está jugando los partidos, es lo mismo cuando jugaba Bielsa, cuando empiezan los partidos, siempre pierde. Empieza perdiendo, pero después agarra la onda y los equipos ganan, ya después no pierden más, o si pierden, pero siempre van a pelear luchando, y así juega Arteta. Juega y pone presión. Él quiere tener posesión de la pelota y quiere tener más tiro en gol. Ese es el gol. Y eso es lo que hizo. Hizo los cambios, banqueó a algunos, sacó
no tuvo miedo a hacer los cambios.
No tuvo miedo a hacer los cambios y dejó al final al capitán, a Xhaka, que era el líder y realmente el único jugador que queda de tomó la posesión del equipo. Así que, y todos los jugadores que han contratado él han sido efectivos. Trossard, el jugador de Brighton, que es un jugadorazo.
Y creo que esa es la clave.
A Martinelli se ha hecho una...
Y creo que es la clave, que había progreso, se veía el progreso. O sea, no perdían mal, perdían competitivamente. O sea, no había una que otra pérdida así.
Pero nunca vi que hubo ni una presión. No existía esa presión porque se veía que el equipo tenía sentido, que había una filosofía de juego que todos la veían todos los días. Entonces no hay presión ahí.
Ahora, compara eso con lo que está pasando con Austin FC y Josh Wolf. ¿Tú crees que se ha visto el progreso? Como se ve como tuvo Arteta con Arsenal, que...
obviamente que no vemos que vamos 2 pasitos para adelante y 1 para atrás, ¿no? Obviamente que no se ve por ningún lado que hayamos tenido un progreso.
Continuidad, por lo menos.
No ha habido continuidad. Ha habido continuidad, pero no ha habido progreso. O sea, hemos tenido un horrible primer año. Un segundo año.
Era de esperarse, francamente.
Era de esperarse, pero no era de esperarse. Yo no lo espero. Yo nunca espero un mal año.
Yo no esperaba mucho.
Yo no voy a esperar ningún año.
Yo no esperaba mucho el primer año. Porque había dos opciones.
El segundo año.
Iban a ser como
honestamente, el segundo año tuvimos a Sebastián Drussi, que cambió todo el mundo. Es la mitad del equipo.
Sí.
Es la mitad del equipo.
Definitivamente el enfoque.
Después de que se alcanzaron los playoffs, el equipo se derrumbó. Hacía el mismo experimento. El equipo no hizo nada. Pudo haber experimentado con diferentes alineaciones, propuestas, pero no. Como te digo, siempre es un retroceso.
Yo pienso lo que sucedió con Austin.
Rigoni es un retroceso.
Es 3/4 de la
Red es un retroceso.
Tuvieron 3/4 de buena temporada.
Ya.
Porque último cuarto de la temporada de Austin FC no fue muy buena. No tuvieron muchos resultados. Solo necesitaban un partido para ganar, para asegurar los playoffs, y tardaron muchísimo.
Ese periodo que me acuerdo que hablamos mucho sobre ese periodo que era el periodo perfecto para ganar partidos.
Y luego experimentar y jugar todos los de la banca, poner a Rodney Redes de titular en todos los restos de los partidos. Pero tenían que alcanzar eso y no lo alcanzaron.
El mejor ejemplo, digamos, de lo que tiene que hacer un coach fue lo que pasaba las últimas 3 semanas del partido. Perder con el equipo amateur de Violet.
De Violet.
Es el mejor ejemplo de lo que no tiene que hacer un coach y lo que tiene que hacer un buen coach, como en el caso de Violeta AC, que sin jugadores, sin siquiera jugar un equipo profesional, y en el segundo tenía solamente 14 jugadores.
Sí, porque te aseguro que
y consiguieron el resultado en 40 minutos.
Te aseguro que el entrenador,
ese es un buen entrenador.
El entrenador de Violet no trató de moldear a los jugadores a sus tácticas. Él moldeó sus tácticas a los jugadores que tenía por fuerza, porque no sabía qué jugadores iba a tener ni en el primer partido ni en el segundo. Y aún así pudo obtener resultados. O sea, vio las fuerzas y el talento que cada jugador tenía y lo
otro que vimos también, como Jorge Iturralde nos decía, la gente, los chicos de Violet ya estaban convencidos de que iban a ganar ese partido de 3-0 antes de que comenzara el partido.
Increíble.
Y el primer partido en República Dominicana. Sí. Y sí lo ganaron. Y lo ganaron 3-0. Y ya saber que... Entonces el equipo, cuando hay confianza en el equipo, es lo que se necesita. Que el equipo, aunque falten un par de jugadores, el equipo se puede jugar de la misma manera.
Sí.
Eso es lo que estábamos hablando como en Manchester City. Manchester City, falta Haaland, el equipo se cambia, el equipo igual sigue ganando.
Sí.
Entonces, eso es lo que tiene que ser, para mí, eso es lo que tiene que hacer el entrenador. O sea, hacer los y hacer los cambios durante el partido cuando vale la pena. Durante el juego. En el minuto 75 ya tiene que tener todos los cambios listos, ya hechos. Si no los hiciste, hay algún problema. Y si vas a hacer un cambio, va a ser un ataque, un cambio por ataque, no un cambio defensivo.
¿Tú crees que, vamos a poner un escenario, en el equipo de LAFC, digamos, empieza Arrigoni en el partido y por los primeros 20 minutos sigue enseñando lo mismo, nada. ¿Tú lo cambiarás al minuto 20?
Ya, inmediatamente.
Para meterle en la cabeza que...
pero eso depende de los jugadores, también depende de la situación, pero claro, hay entrenadores que sacan a los jugadores porque se dan cuenta que mentalmente no están. Lo que pasó con Kip Keller. Kip Keller cuando metió los errores...
En cuanto hizo ese error, lo debió haber sentado. Sí,
ese es el mejor ejemplo. Debería haber sentado porque el tipo está nervioso. No está en el partido. Te das cuenta al principio.
Un jugador jugando nervioso porque ¿cuándo fue cuando anotó el gol? ¿El minuto 60 y
¿quién?
Cuando Kip Keller le pasó la pelota a este muchacho. Fue temprano, como el minuto 60, 61, ¿no?
Sí, el primero fue temprano. El primer error fue temprano. Y el segundo también, había tiempo de cambiarlo para el segundo.
Sí, porque de ahí en adelante ya no estaba jugando.
¿Y el tercero?
Se me le metió en la cabeza el error que había hecho. Sí. Recientemente, por cierto, mis respetos porque jugó muy bien en el equipo, ahorita en el equipo de Austin FC2. Jugó muy bien ese partido. Sí. Y lo entrevistaron después de ese partido y todavía estaba pensando en el error.
Son cosas que pasan.
Hasta mis respetos porque él tardó, porque pues está joven el muchacho, para asimilar lo que le sucedió. Y aceptó responsabilidades y yo la regué. Y voy a tratar de hacer todo lo que pueda, todo lo que necesite, para no caer en esos errores otra vez. Así que,
lo importante en eso, Jorge, es que el equipo tiene ahora Austin FC 2. Que no existía antes.
Debería aprovechar más.
Hablamos mucho el año pasado cómo Filadelfia tiene una tremenda cantera. Casi todos los equipos vienen de la cantera en Filadelfia, que es un ejemplo a seguir y que Austin debería seguir, ¿no? Y es bueno tener esa opción ahora. Entonces, el equipo, la dirección técnica, tenemos más opciones dentro de Austin FC.
Sí, y yo lo mencioné.
Son las opciones que nunca va a tener Violeta AC.
Yo lo mencioné antes de la temporada o después de la temporada del año pasado, que a mí me encantaría ver en Austin FC2 a Rodney Redes. Yo creo que él haría muy bien en ese equipo.
Y Rigoni también. Rigoni también. A Rigoni
pero es que Austin FC2
Rigoni no ha hecho nada.
El equipo de segunda es más bien para los jóvenes, creo yo.
Pero Rigoni no se ha adaptado todavía, necesita un proceso de adaptación.
Eso sí.
Entonces se adapta, juega con y después...
Eso sí estaría interesante, mandarle unos dos o tres partiditos y que se acople hasta las... ¿Mándame? Pásenle.
Nos quedan 5 minutos.
Sí, pues pásenle.
Okay, dale.
Entonces, a ver, cuenten. A ver,
déjenme... Bueno, perdón, siéntense.
A ver, cuéntenos. ¿Sí alcanza? Lo hacemos para acá para que quepa Jorge. Digo, para que pegue. Para que quepa un poquito más para allá. No, está bien ahí, Jerry. Ahí cabemos.
Entonces,
sí.
Es que se oye muy interesante su plática. Adelante.
Cuéntame, Jorge, ¿qué estábamos hablando?
Lo que estábamos platicando es el uso de Austin FC, cómo pueden usar Austin FC 2 para ayudar a los jugadores que están con problemas en este momento. Vimos el ejemplo de Kip Keller. De Kip Keller. Él jugó muy bien en el partido, porque como que estaba el resto del plantel a su nivel, más o menos. Creo que se esperaba demasiado de él estando en el equipo mayor. Pero en el equipo de Austin FC2 están más todos igual de talento. Y jugó mucho mejor. Y lo entrevistaron después del partido. Y él admitió que la regué en ese partido. Y voy a hacer todo lo que pueda para mejorar y para que eso se quede en el pasado. Y la manera de hacerlo es jugar. Y si está jugando regularmente con Austin FC2, estaría
perfecto, pero dice, yo escuché a David, no, Rigoni no se puede ir a Austin FC2.
No, es mucho dinero que gastaría.
No.
Que Rigoni no se puede ir a FC. No, pero debería, estoy hablando de
deber.
¿De
qué funcionaría?
Pero es un jugador de 2 millones.
Los 2 millones ahí en
2 millones
en la mesa,
200.
Porque imagínense,
imagínense
cómo van a reaccionar los medios y los fans. Que un jugador de DP esté jugando en el segundo equipo. Si de por sí...
No va a pasar.
Si de por sí Austin
no va a pasar, pero debería, el tipo no ha hecho nada.
Pero si de por sí Austin FC es la vergüenza de MLS por Violet, ahora van a tener según uno de los mejores jugadores en la segundo equipo, no va a suceder.
Lo que para mí estaba pensando la otra vez es, si el Austin FC 2 hubiera empezado un año antes o cuando empezó la liga, tal vez los jugadores jóvenes que agarraron desde el principio hubieran pasado por un proceso de adaptación, de crecimiento.
Es que porque está al revés.
Estás
agarrando de arriba para meterlos abajo.
Como para mí es, cuando agarras el draft del NCAA a la MLS, para mí es un error mandarlos luego a la leña, porque esos chavos no están formados como en academias o como empresas básicas.
Pero espérame, Pereira tuvo cantidad de errores.
Sí.
No, pero tuvo errores.
Fueron muchos errores en el primer partido.
Acuérdate que en el primer año le echaban la culpa Ring y todos le echaban la culpa a Pereira. Pero lo agotaron, nunca lo castigaron como castigaron a...
Es que ¿dónde más lo iban a jugar?
Lo tuvieron castigadito a Pereira porque por las amarillas, ¿te acuerdas? Cuando tenía amarillas...
Sí, lo sentaron
un ratito. Lo sentaron por las amarillas y él reconoció que le daban muchas amarillas.
Igual no teníamos a nadie en esa posición.
No.
Era lo único que estaba jugando.
Y reaccionó, dijo, no, sí, el jefe me dijo que no hiciera tanto foul y le daban amarillas por nada.
Pero tienes razón en cuanto a comparando lo que le hace la NBA. Pero lo que hace la NBA cuando escogen a todos sus jugadores, no los mandan a la liga. Tienen una liga de verano, el Summer League que llaman. Y ahí el G League también. Ahí juegan entre ellos y se adaptan al partido, a la velocidad, porque es muy diferente, obviamente.
Sí.
Entonces, lo que es Austin FC 2 o el MLS Pro para la liga, son jugadores que acaban de salir de college o que son nuevos de USL, contrataciones así 2 o 3 años de titulares o de profesionales más bien. Entonces, para Kip Keller, eso es un perfecto lugar para aprender la posición, para aprender la velocidad. Entonces, yo creo que si hubiera jugado Pereira en una liga así, estuviera aún mucho mejor de lo que está ahora. Como que perdió un año de desenvolvimiento.
Sí, pero bueno, aprovechó que su segundo año pues, le fue mejor.
Eso
el primer
sí.
año pues, sí la regó, pero el segundo año se ve mejor y el tercero pues se ha visto más consistente.
Hasta vi por ahí una gráfica en MLS Soccer que Pereira es uno de los primeros en pases conectados de la liga.
Pero es que esas gráficas son muy... son irreales.
Porque
Tú
son-
puedes
o
dar
sea,
400
no se
pases al
puede
lado,
comparar.
para atrás.
Palabras.
No,
Porque yo te la paso aquí.
Pero también Wolf tiene el que
Wolf
más
le
quitaba,
han dado
el que más
muchas-
quitaba ahí en esa posición.
Wolf
También
le
tiene
han
muy
dado
buenos
mucho,
números.
pero como mencionamos, no sé si era al aire o fuera del aire, que no merecía, por tan bueno que es Wolfito, no merecía Ring perder su posición
Así lo hablamos el año
por
pasado.
ello. O sea, mis respetos a Wolf, a Owen Wolf es un buen jugador, X, pero sacrificar lo que significa Alex Ring
Para todo el equipo.
para todo el equipo.
No nada más para la posición, para todo el equipo.
Yo pienso que lo hubiera igual Owen para la All-Star FC2. Ahí hubiera caído bien y poco a poco, y lo pones como por decir, opciona que si realmente está funcionando, ahí lo subes.
¿Sabes la sorpresa que todos se van a llevar? ¿O nos vamos a llevar? Va a ser el sueldo cuando ya salgan al aire. Él ganaba 75, 80 mil dólares, creo que era el mínimo. 80 mil
Sí,
dólares.
80,000 algo.
Va a estar en 300 o 400.
Sí, fácil.
Te lo puedo asegurar.
Sí, fácil.
Por fin.
Fácil.
Oye, pero chicos, ¿ustedes qué piensan entonces? ¿Cuál es la solución? ¿Qué tiene que hacer el equipo Austin FC en la dirección técnica?
Nada. Yo creo que Wolf tiene que, para mí, Wolf tiene que calmarse porque ha estado haciendo lo que hizo en el 2021. Nada más calmarse, nada más agarrar un equipo sin presión. Si Rigoni no funciona, que lo siente. Si Cerdes no funciona, que lo siente. Tiene la presión de ponerlos porque a lo mejor los contrató y los quiere poner y el equipo no funciona. Pero si él agarrara y buscara en verdad a los que venían con una inercia el año pasado, ya lo vimos. 15 partidos antes de Rigoni y 15 partidos después de Rigoni y llevamos muchísimos más perdidos.
Oye, y las posiciones, solamente estamos hablando de las posiciones, con Gallagher por un lado.
Y prácticamente tenemos a los mismos.
Fagundes por el otro.
Pero la clave, como mencioné en el show anterior, es Finley, es Ethan Finley. Es un jugador no muy espectacular, hay que admitir, no tiene muchas estadísticas a su favor, pero tiene muchos años de experiencia en esa posición.
Y encaja.
Él sabe dónde poner la pelota en el área.
Y
Conectaba muy bien.
¿Y sabes cuál es lo importante, Tocayo? Que cuando agarra Drusy o Sebas o Drusy o Diego o cuando agarran y van a dar la pelota o el balón, ya saben dónde está.
Sí.
Ya lo tienen en la mente que Finley va a estar acá. Entonces, esa conexión que había entre ellos no la hay con Rigoni.
No la hay.
Y ponle tú, como hablas tú, con Gallagher y Diego en la banda izquierda. El gol que metió Gallagher, el asistente de Diego, como la jugada, pum, pum, pum. Porque sabe que Gallagher dónde va a ser la corrida. Y es algo que tal vez Rigoni no sabe, es algo que Sardes no sabe. Urruti, aunque no meta gol, él va a hacer algo para que cree espacio, para que entre Drusy o entre este Fagundes o el mismo Finley. Pienso yo que para mí tiene que Wolf, como dice, calmarse y aparte también usar lo que tiene que le funcionó el año pasado. Y no tratar de
no reinventar la rueda, ¿no?
No reinventar la rueda o componer algo que no está descompuesto. O sea, el equipo estaba...
Les digo algo que va a pasar, que es mi intuición.
¿Qué va a pasar?
Rigoni va a estar en la banca el próximo partido.
Sí.
Contra el AFC.
Yo se los puedo asegurar.
Y fíjate que el partido del AFC...
Y es que a lo mejor lo necesita. Necesita un poquito de...
Necesita agarrar
no sé
confianza.
si es disciplina o...
Es que no tiene
No, fíjate
confianza
que
en el
disciplina,
equipo.
o sea, se ve disciplinado, pues simplemente le falta confianza.
Confianza.
Eso es lo
Le
que
falta un buen juego donde...
Oye, se nota cuando le pega las masitas esas que hace.
Y realmente-
Cuando le pega al arco no le puede pegar masitas, profesional.
No,
y realmente...
Perdón, adelante.
No, y digo, realmente, o sea, es un jugador, como dicen, que era bueno para centrar.
No, Rigoni jugó en la selección con Messi. Hay partidos de eliminatoria donde Rigoni está junto con Messi.
Sí, pero digo yo, y ahorita ya cuando regrese, si lo sientan, jugaría ¿Para meter gol o para meter un buen centro? ¿Qué es?
¿Sabes que yo estuve viendo casi 2 horas de videos de Rigoni este fin de semana?
No es un hombre de gol.
No es un hombre del lado derecho. Es un hombre que sí juega del lado derecho, pero juega en la media, pero juega más atrás, pero juega de aquel lado. Es libre. Cuando Rigoni lo dejes libre, va a hacer lo que él quiere en el campo.
Pero entonces, ¿no crees que eso va a interrumpir cómo juega Driussi? Porque él les juega parecido.
Es que si tienes a dos que pueden jugar como 10, deja los dos libres.
Exactamente.
Tienes un montón de jugadores ahí que pueden defender.
Porque si Wolf va a estar experimentando...
Rigoni defiende.
Eso sí defiende mucho.
Puedes aprovechar más su juego, como dice Jorge, de creativo, atrás en al lado tal vez un poquito arriba de Pereira, pero no muy abierto, porque si lo dejas abierto, se va a perder, como ahorita, que no sabe cómo regresar, y si lo tienes más adentro en su posición, la chance para que pueda defender va a ayudar bastante.
Entonces, porque la táctica que usa Wolf es más o menos una 4-3-3. Entonces,
De repente.
Era.
Ahorita usa 8-1-1.
6-3-2.
Pero
7-4-10.
o lo que caiga, ¿no? Pero para liberar a ellos dos, ¿creen que deberían estar enfrente digamos un 4-4-2? Y dejar a ellos dos que estén libres.
Yo diría que estuvieran los 4 de atrás. Adelantito, que estuvieran Pereira y Ring. Obviamente yo estoy pensando en que...
Pero Ring va a estar atrás.
No, por eso estoy
pensando, pero cuando ya regrese,
que Cascante regrese, ¿no? Sería Ring, Wolfito, y adelante yo pondría igual en una línea así, que roten o que se muevan, a Rigoni con Sebas y Finley y Diego de los lados.
Será 4.
Entonces, el problema sería si sacrificas a Sardes o sacrificas a... Bueno, no es que sacrificas, sino yo me voy más con Urruti que con Sardes.
Porque va a conectar mejor con...
Urruti ya es probado, ya sabemos que la experiencia que tiene.
Y a Sardes, si puede entrar, pienso que un delantero como Sardes ahorita en lo que está pasando es mejor que entre de cambio que entre empezando.
Por su velocidad.
Entras con velocidad y aparte entras
menos tiene velocidad, pero no tiene, ha tenido balones y se tropieza.
Pero también lo mismo que le pasa a Rigoni, la confianza. No tiene
David juega mejor que Sardes. Por eso te digo.
Y es verdad.
Por las bandas es buenísimo.
Pero por la banda de robo, por la banda de...
Okay. Bueno, chicos.
Pues sí, muy interesante.
Perdonen que nos hayamos metido.
No, perfecto. Queríamos hacer un show bilingüe. Hace tiempo que no hacíamos el show bilingüe de fútbol en vivo. Esta es la primera vez.
Vamos a dejar el cabello así como...
Como Rigo Tobar.
Como Rigo Tobar y su Costa Azul.
Pero excelente, chicos. Entonces, bueno, mucho fútbol. Va a la Champions League, se nos viene la próxima semana. Esta semana se nos viene la Champions League. ¿Quién sale campeón?
¿En Champions League?
¿Por quién
no
van?
No importa eso. Mañana Violet contra León.
Mañana es Violet contra León.
¿Violet contra León? No.
Sí, ya llegó.
Yo quiero saber quién va a ganar la Champions. ¿Quién va a ganar la Champions? Rápido.
No, yo creo que...
¿Quién gana la Champions?
Hasta la siguiente ronda.
Bayern Munich. ¿Quién pasa? ¿Bayern o Man City?
Man City va.
Pienso que Man City ya le toca.
Sí, ya le toca
pero
a Man City.
De repente el Real Madrid lo puede dar por muerto en la Champions y
revive, sí, cierto.
Al campeón nunca lo das por muerto.
Si esos dos terminan en la final,
partidazo.
Ese partido sí estaría padre.
Y Real está agarrando nivel, está agarrando. Yo sé que ayer jugó con uno leve, pero jugaron muy bien.
Sí, pero con Barcelona también jugaron muy bien.
Y Benzema, como ustedes dijeron, es un monstruo.
Sí.
Perfectamente bien, ya me callo.
Bueno, chicos, nos vemos entonces la próxima semana en Fútbol en Vivo. Adiós.
Chiquiwiki.
Si ven a chiquiwhisky.com.
Nos siguen ahí por las redes sociales.